Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our June 2022 Evening Education Connection event and the second half of our Summer Fun series. This evening, we're thrilled to welcome Alex Boyle, Program Manager at Outreach, along with one of our very own HMS family members, Latoya Thomas. Latoya will be sharing some summer fun experiences she's had in the community with her daughter, Paige. But before that, we'll learn a little bit more about Outreach. Outreach creates, advocates for, and expands accessible opportunities in the arts so the full spectrum of society is served. The organization also removes the financial barrier to arts engagement for the disability community and people with low income. So, Alex, I will turn it over to you and thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie, and thank you, HMS, for having me too. I'm going to share my screen. I just have a little PowerPoint to help visualize some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. Okay, great. So again, my name is Alex Boyle. I am the program manager at Outreach. You might already be familiar with Outreach, but if you haven't heard of us or if you're not too familiar with what we do, we're a small nonprofit based in Philadelphia. Although we're based in Philadelphia, we serve the greater Philadelphia area. So we also serve people down in the northern part of Delaware and South Jersey as well. And at Outreach, we have several programs that focus on making the arts as accessible and as affordable as possible for people with disabilities and low income. So if you are familiar with any of our programs, the ones that you're probably familiar with are programs that offer discounted admission to different arts and cultural sites, which is what I'm going to talk about in a moment. But I always like to mention that we also have a lot of education programs, and those programs focus on educating people who actually work in the arts and cultural sector. So because we have these programs where it makes it a lot easier for people with disabilities to get out to all of these arts and cultural venues, we take that full circle by making sure that the people who actually work there know how to best welcome people with disabilities as well. So I always like to mention that because some people know us for one thing and some people know us for the other thing, and they connect with each other. And I feel like it can be reassuring as someone who's visiting one of the places that we work with to know that we have a hand in working with them and making sure that they're as accessible as we can help them to be. So I'll move along with my presentation, and I just have a really quick little overview of the things that I'll talk about. Like Julie mentioned, I know the theme tonight is sort of like vacation and staycation. My half of this will definitely focus on the staycation part. So I'll introduce you to our Access program if you're not already familiar with it and how the program works. If you think that you can't participate in the program, I'll give you some information about how you can, even if you don't have an access card. And then I'll just talk about some of the different locations that you can visit and just some tips for using the program, as well as contact information if you have questions or ever want to reach out to us too. So this is our Access program. If you are familiar with Outreach, it's probably because you've heard about this program or you may have even used this program already. So just the really basic explanation of what our Access program is that anyone who has a Pennsylvania state issued access card or EBT card, any of the 4 cards that are pictured on the screen, any cardholder can visit up to over 60 different museums, gardens, theaters, and historic sites that we work with. And with the Access card, your ticket would just be $2. And the Access card holder can bring up to 3 people with them that will also pay $2. So essentially a group of 4 people can go to any of our participating locations for a total of $8. For the cards that are pictured here, the 2 on the bottom, the blue-green card and the yellow card, those are sort of older versions of what the Access card and EBT card used to look like. So you may have had one of those in the past, or if you do still have one of those, that's perfectly fine and those still work for the program. But if you've received, or if someone in your family has received an access card recently in the last couple of years, you probably have one of the top two cards, like the one on the right that has cherry blossoms on it, or the one on the left that really just looks like an insurance card. So I always just like to tell people, like, check your wallet just in case. You may think it's just an insurance card, but you could actually be using it for this program as well. So these are the cards for anyone that already has an access card directly from the state of Pennsylvania. And then the way that the program works, it's really, really simple. On our website, which is art-reach.org/access, you can view a list of all the places that participate in our access program. So like I said, we have over 60 different places. I'll highlight a few of them later on in this presentation. But once you view that list, we have information about each museum or each place listed on our website. And we also have a link directly to that museum's website. So when you're booking tickets with Artreach, you don't have to get the tickets from Artreach. You don't have to contact us or get approval from us to get your discounted tickets. You can actually just visit the museum's website directly to get those tickets with the discount. And also, I don't know if you guys can hear this. There is an ice cream truck right outside of my window. If you hear that music playing in the background,
it's making me hungry.
I know. Sorry about that.
No, it's great.
Driving around. But anyway, it's a good summer activity too, getting ice cream. So like I was saying, you can visit the museum's website directly to reserve your tickets. It's a little bit different for every place. When the pandemic started, a lot of the partners that we work with started offering those access tickets directly on their website because a lot of them started tracking capacity and doing timed ticketing. So in most cases, if there's a place you'd like to visit, when you go to check out for your tickets, there may be an option where you can just add an access ticket instead of the full price adult ticket to your cart, and that should just be $2. We don't require that, so not every place has that as an available option online. So if you don't see anything about how to get the discount on their website, you probably may just need to give them a call to reserve your tickets over the phone instead. But if they're on our list, you should still be able to get that $2 rate no matter which place you're going to. It may just be slightly different for each place. And then once you have purchased your tickets or reserved your tickets in advance, all you need to do is on the day of your visit, just remember to bring your access card with you and your photo ID. And they'll just ask to see that to validate your discount before you go in. If the card is in a minor's name, they're not required to have photo ID, so you don't need to worry about that. And they may just ask to see your ID if you're the parent or guardian, just in case. But that is not required for someone that doesn't have a photo ID or isn't old enough yet to have one. So that's the very basics of how the program works. I know you're probably thinking, what if I don't have one of these cards? What if I don't live in Pennsylvania? And we have options for you too. So I also wanted to give a shout out to anyone that lives in Delaware. We just last year at I think summer 2021, we expanded our access program into Delaware, primarily the Wilmington area. I don't know why we decided to launch a new program in the middle of the pandemic, but it worked. So we have some locations down in that area too. Right now we have about 12 different sites that include several different gardens and outdoor spaces. The Brandywine Zoo is a partner down in Delaware. So if you do live in Delaware and you have this Delaware EBT card, which has a picture of the beach on it, then you are welcome to visit any of our Access Delaware participating sites. And I should mention that for anyone that has the Delaware card or any of the 4 cards that I've already showed you, you can visit the sites that are in your state. So we haven't gotten to the point yet where there's crossover. So if you have the Delaware card, you can visit the Delaware sites. If you have the Pennsylvania card, you can visit the Pennsylvania sites. And I'll explain in a moment how you can do both if you would like to. But you can also find the full list of all of our participating Delaware sites on our website. That's art-reach.org/DE. And that'll bring you right to all of that information. Okay, so if you don't have an access card from Pennsylvania, or you don't have an access card from Delaware, or you do, but you want to visit the other state, this is probably going to be the option for you. In January 2020, which again, great time to launch a new program, we launched our ArtReach access card. And we launched this as a response to feedback that we got from our access program, that there were a lot of people with disabilities that we were hearing from that just weren't at that income level or didn't qualify for an access card from the state. But there's still so many, high costs associated with having a disability that it just really, if you have to cut something out of your budget, it's probably going to be the arts first, because it's not a priority for over medical issues or anything like that. So we got a lot of feedback asking how people with disabilities could still participate in this program if they didn't have a card from the state. So now the ArtReach access card is available for anyone that identifies as having a disability, but for that same reason does not qualify for one from the state. And this card obviously does not give you any of the medical benefits or any of the state benefits that the other cards do, but it does give you the exact same benefit of being able to visit all of our participating locations in Pennsylvania and Delaware at that $2 rate, and you can still bring up to 3 people with you for the $2 price. The card is available to purchase on the ArtReach website. It's $75 for a yearly membership, which we've found pays for itself in one visit, because if you're bringing a group of 4 people to one of our more expensive partners, like Longwood Gardens is a good example. I know it's probably $20, $25 a ticket just to go to Longwood Gardens. So that's already $80, $100 right there. So if you use the program literally just more than once or twice, then you'll probably get your money's worth right away. And it's valid for a full year, and that can be renewed on a yearly basis through ArtReach. The application and sign-up process is really easy. We are never going to ask you for proof of disability. We don't need any documentation. We just have a really simple form on our website that sort of lays out how we identify disability at ArtReach, and just asks you to check a box that says, yes, I identify with this description, and that's all we will ask from you. So if you or someone in your family identifies as having a disability, you are welcome to purchase this ArtReach access card instead of trying to get one from the state if you're not able to do that. So yeah, and we're always happy to answer questions if you are confused about the purchase process or have any questions about how this card works specifically. So you can always reach out to us too. Great. So I just wanted to go into and highlight some of the places that you can actually go through this program. These are mostly Pennsylvania sites, since we have more of those, and I definitely could not fit all of them onto a PowerPoint. So these are just some of the highlights of places that I know are pretty popular and that are probably some favorites of people. So these are indoor museums for the most part, science, history, and art museums. Some of the history museums here are the Museum of the American Revolution, Eastern State Penitentiary, the National Constitution Center. science and children's museums like the Please Touch Museum, the Franklin Institute, the Academy of Natural Sciences, and art museums like the Philadelphia Museum of Art and the Pennsylvania Academy of the Fine Arts as well. For anyone that's looking for outdoor venues, we have a lot of gardens on our program as well. These are all Pennsylvania, mostly Greater Philadelphia based, but like I said, we have a lot of different gardens down in Delaware in the Wilmington area as well. So I've already mentioned Longwood Gardens. That's a really popular one. Also in the city is Philadelphia's Magic Gardens. We have Mars Arboretum, Grounds for Sculpture, which is technically in New Jersey, but they just wanted to join the program so badly. So we were like, sure, yeah, we will count you as Philadelphia, since Trenton's not that far from Philadelphia. So we made an exception. So yeah, they're on our program now too. And then most recently, and happening right now actually, is the Philadelphia Flower Show, which has joined our program for the very first time. We were really excited about that. And then even though this year's flower show is about to come to a close, we're definitely expecting that they will be offering this discount for future shows as well, whenever they make those plans for the next flower show. And then for summer vacations, the summer is really the off season for theaters, but I did want to still mention some of the theaters that we work with. So that way, even if you're planning ahead for the fall or especially around the holiday season, a lot of theaters will have holiday programming and sensory friendly performances. So some of the places that are in theater and performing arts that participate in our program are the Philly Pops, the Philadelphia Ballet, People's Light Theater, Hedgerow Theater Company, Opera Philadelphia, the Wilma Theater, the Philadelphia Orchestra, and Theater Horizon. And especially, there are several of these that I know do have sensory-friendly performances at least once a year. A lot of these places, if they haven't done a sensory-friendly performance yet, they've probably reached out to Artreach to think about planning one for a future season. And we love like sensory friendly and relaxed performances. If you're not familiar with those are just performances that are usually more accessible than a regular performance, where anyone can just go and feel free to be themselves. So if someone needs to vocalize during a performance or get up and move around or leave while the show is happening to chill out in the lobby, relaxed performances are just performances where it's just really relaxed theater roles. So for someone that maybe doesn't feel welcome at a normal, like strict, have to be quiet, have to stay in your seat type of performance, we always recommend those. And I'll talk about our email list in a second, but if you join Artreach's email list for our Access program, we will always send out an email whenever we know that there's a sensory friendly performance coming up. So that way you can get heads up from us too. So yeah, those are just some of the places that participate in that program and accept the discount. I should also mention that when it comes to theaters specifically, since there is a limited number of seats and definitely a limited number of accessible seats, although we wished every seat was an accessible seat, we can't guarantee that they'll always have tickets. So it's best to plan ahead and just double check beforehand to make sure that they have the seats that you need. And then these are just some tips that I always like to mention about the program. Like I just said, even if it's not a theater, even if it's a museum or a garden that you're visiting, definitely visit their website to check accessibility features, or you can give them a call just to make sure that they have an accessible entrance and that the places that you want to visit in the museum are physically accessible. And on the list that we have on our website, we actually, for every place on our list, we should have a direct link that will bring you right to the accessibility page on the museum's website, as long as they have that. So it'll save you a couple of clicks if you want to go through our website instead of trying to search for it on theirs. Something else that I wanted to mention is that one of the reasons that we created this program too is because we know that so much planning goes into going anywhere for people with disabilities. It's so much harder to plan when you have a disability compared to when you don't. You can't just show up places without planning ahead of time. So because of that, we also have received feedback that, sometimes people who have a disability might get into the space, might go somewhere, and maybe you get overstimulated, or maybe if you have a chronic illness, maybe you just get fatigued really easily. And when you're planning a vacation or a staycation, I feel like there's a tendency to put a lot of pressure on yourself as someone who's planning it to make sure that you have a great time, you see everything that you wanted to see, especially if you're paying a lot of money for the tickets. So I just want to normalize, like, leaving early is cool. That's okay with this program because you've only paid $2 for your ticket and not $25 a person. So, if you get in and you see one thing and then someone in your family decides, like, nope, can't be here anymore, that's okay. It's so much easier to walk out when you've only paid $8 for your family. So I just wanted to say that because I know that planning any type of vacation can come with a lot of pressure to have fun. Like I mentioned before, we also have an Access newsletter that we send out monthly, and sometimes we'll send out a couple times a month if there's extra stuff that we hear about going on. I will share with the HMS team a link to sign up for that because I didn't put it in here, and that way they can send it out to everyone. And you can also follow us on social media at Artreach Philly on any social media platform. Whenever we have a new partner, we will announce it through our newsletter and on social media. And then, like I said before, if we have any upcoming events or any special events that have discounts through the program, we'll share that out too. And then finally, we really love hearing feedback about this program. So if you use our Access program, or even if you just visit one of the places that we partner with, we definitely want to hear any feedback that you have, good or bad. We really love good feedback, but any type of negative experience you have, please feel free to email us about that too. We take that really seriously because, like I said earlier, we not only offer this program, but our other programs focus on making sure that those places are being welcoming for you. So we definitely want to know if you have a not so great experience visiting any of the places on our program. And actually, a really great example of that is just earlier today, I got an email from someone who visited the flower show, and we have gotten a lot of really positive feedback about accessibility at the flower show, but this person didn't have as great of an experience, and they just kind of pointed out some things that they thought could be improved upon when it comes to accessibility. So we sent that directly to the team that we work with at the PHS, the flower show team. And already, this was only this morning, already they've been having conversations, they've reached out to us. We're like already planning how we can fix those things that were pointed out to us for next year's show. So if you ever feel like hesitant about, oh, is anyone actually going to read this email if I send it to the museum, you can send it directly to us, and I can guarantee we will address it in some way. So yeah, do not hesitate to give us any type of feedback about the program because we love it. And that's pretty much it. Those are the basics of how our Access program works. Like I said, I'll share all of the links and all of the information that I included in this presentation with the HMS team, so that way they can share it out with everyone. But then feel free to reach out to us directly if you have any questions. But thank you.
Great. Alex, thank you so much. I know that I learned a lot from that. And it's just great to hear from the organization directly, especially your tips and tricks kind of at the end were very especially helpful. So thank you so much. We're now going to turn over to Latoya Thomas, who's going to share her experiences with her daughter, Paige, and I'm excited to hear about them. Latoya, I will spotlight your video for you, and I'm going to mute myself.
Hi, everyone. I am handling the vacation part of today's presentation. I also have like some other stuff about staycations at home. We do a lot of different things in a community and we travel a lot. Paige rather travel than do anything else. So please bear with me. This is like my first time since probably like college and doing a PowerPoint. So I'm trying to share the screen.
No problem. We can help with anything needed.
And then it like went somewhere else. So I'm going to mute myself just. I hope I have it, guys.
No
Okay.
problem.
All right.
And if it's easier, you can feel free to send it to Teresa and we can share. But
Oh, really? I don't even know.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I see it.
Shakina is like, well, you should do a PowerPoint. And I'm like, that is above me. And you're making and she
could
a little later. I already had everything together, but she stayed to help me. So but yeah, so me and Paige have been vacationing like definitely around Christmas time and her birthday since she was 5. Christmas wasn't the same for us, you know, like as the typical family, and she just wasn't bubbly or happy or anything. And I said, guess what? We will just make our big vacation around your birthday and Christmas. And that's what we've been doing. So I think we visited about 10 different countries since then. We've been a lot of places. Our most favorite vacation was Turks and Caicos. Paige was 9, so that was about 4 years ago. And we just keep it pushing. Paige gets sick during vacation, we keep it pushing. We don't stop, you know. We just keep going. So I'm hoping that this presentation will encourage families just to get out and don't let our everyday life stop us from living life, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. I think.
Can you guys see the next screen?
So I think if you go to view up at your top, so we can see like an overview of your slides, of all the slides right now, but if up at the orange bar at the top, yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Now we can see it.
Vacationing is possible. 3 P's: packing, patience, and no panic. Don't be shy. Bring what you need or might need. And remember, most medical items cannot be purchased over the counter. We come, like usually when we vacation, it's either from 3 days to 7 days. No matter what, it seems like we have a lot of bags. So I've been called the bag lady and so many other things, but I just make sure that we have more than what we need for flight cancellations, car breakdowns, if we're road tripping, or even just medication spills. I make sure I bring more than enough, at least 3 extra days of just needs for our special needs kiddos. Packing is the most difficult thing. I think the thing that I make myself nervous about is because if we forget, our whole vacation can just be blown away. So I usually like pack ahead. I give myself a week and I open up the suitcase, and as I'm taking care of Paige or even her nurses, we just start putting stuff in. Hey, did you remember this? Hey, did you remember this? Because I know with Paige, I need at least about 100 different things. It's a lot. And even all of the what ifs or whatnot. So you can never have too much luggage as long as you have what you need. Remember, our children need everything that they require on a day-to-day basis, even while on vacation. Secure your meds, bring extra just in case, pack meds, and carry on. I had a family that asked me about vacation and whatnot, and they made a mistake and packed their meds in their suitcase, and their luggage was lost. We can replace clothes and everything, but it's so difficult in getting medication again. A lot of the insurance companies will only give you one mishap a year. I think they do, maybe one or two. So just remember to pack everything you need. And if you are traveling by plane, don't worry about paying because all of your medical equipment flies for free. No matter how many bags you have, Paige have breathing machines and all types of stuff that she needs. And I've never paid for anything medical. I always just separate her clothing, which is typical for everyone, and pack separate. And just have a lot of patience, because even in that, if you get an airline customer service agent, they might not believe you. They might want to open up the bag. So just keep it separate and it will be free. And yes, patience is a must-have. And there will be many bumps in the road. It'll be bumps. You'll be frustrated, especially on a plane, because they have to literally go through every medication, any liquid that you have. They, scan and check to make sure that it wasn't, I don't even know what they're looking for in formula, but they do their security check. And even in the middle of the road bumps, I just want everyone to remember just to hold on and remember to go and keep going. Once you get to your hotel room or wherever you're staying, you'll be able to breathe. And also remember that ignorance is everywhere. Let's teach. Even if we have a bad experience, I always end it on a good note because I'm always thinking about the next family. And I'll say to the person, like, hopefully the next family doesn't have to go through that. Like, I'm tough, but everyone isn't as tough. So we've had a lot of different experiences. Just last year when we were going to California for Paige to do paddle boarding, and TSA was just a mess. It was just a mess. He was doing unnecessary stuff, which we are frequent flyers, so I knew that it wasn't. So I knew to ask for a supervisor, and he came over and rectified the situation. So, and afterwards, I didn't get upset with the guy. I just explained to him, like, we travel a lot. This might have been your first experience with a special need kid. Paige's leg was broken too, so he wanted to take her portable cast off. I'm like,
oh my gosh. I can't imagine that.
Support off to check it, and I'm like, check everything else, but you can't check that. Like, her leg is broken, her whole femur. So I just make every experience a teachable experience. Just listen to the family. They know their child, and let's make it enjoyable for everyone. We have to go through the process, but the process can be easier if they are a little more understanding. But through it all, do not panic. You've got this. With the airlines, while we're talking about them, be sure to call ahead of time to let them know you will need assistance. That will make your trip a lot smoother. They will be expecting you. They will have help for you, like readily available for you. Extra hands are always good because, again, it's a lot of stuff that we have to board on the plane instead of sending with the baggage. So call ahead. Arrive earlier than the 2 hours they suggest, especially if you're going out of the country. 2 hours have never been enough time for us. And again, pointing on the medication, formula, TSA could easily take up an hour of that time. And also when you do get the help from TSA, you're able to breeze through the airport with assistance. So not only will they help you with your bags, you'll be able to jump ahead in lines for security and whatnot. Remember, you and your party will be the first to board and the last to get off. So it's very important for it to go smoothly if you get there early enough for them to start boarding. They will not stop, postpone your boarding just because, you're running late. I'm sorry. That was it. For beaches, even if they're near or far, you can call your local recreation department or whatever recreation department beach that you're visiting and to reserve a beach wheelchair. It's like almost impossible to go through the sand with a regular wheelchair. It'll feel like bricks. So most beaches have the wheelchairs for rent or free of charge. I usually call ahead of time to reserve it. And I always bring disinfectant wipes to go before and after. It's a public thing. You don't know like what they're doing or whatnot. I also will put a towel or a sheet over it. And a lot of the times I take pool noodles because they're good for our children. Support, because those beach wheelchairs will not have support. I have pictures in some of the slides with Paige on a wheelchair. It will make your day much easier at the beach to push the beach wheelchair through. Don't forget your beach ball and other fun activities. And another fun tip that we use at the beach is we use pool floaties to lay her on. I have sturdy ones and then I have like the little ones, but they're much easier than bending down. One year Paige was in the sand. She wasn't playing in it or anything, but sand got in her G-tube. So we didn't want to do that again. So we used the pool floaties to make them loungers, to enjoy your fun in the sun. And here are some pictures of Paigey on the beach. These are,
oh my gosh.
I think this one is a video of my brother like pushing her. I always bring muscle if I can. So yeah, it's just for our kids to get the full experience. Paige does not like the ocean, but taking her up to it for her to hear it, smell the salt and whatnot, and fill her bucket up with the beach water, that makes her day. And I also skipped by a slide that I had with just some pictures of Paige on the plane also. You can see I specifically chose these pictures because she was younger and she was in a car seat in the middle picture. And this is her older, I think it was about last year, the first picture, about 2 years ago. Us probably going back to California. That's like our favorite place. We're gonna move there one day. And this is her getting the support on the aisle chair. And, two people assisting you and getting her on. I think people are as gentle as you are with them, with yourself. So if you set the tone, they will follow it. And if not, you might have to redirect, but yeah. These are some of our favorite accessible places and activities. Morgan's Wonderland, a special needs amusement park in San Antonio, Texas. We loved it there. I'll say I loved it there. Paige didn't so much. She's like more of a thrill seeker. These rides went slower than normal. She wants the full experience. She sat in her wheelchair there. She wants to get out of her wheelchair to get on a ride.
Oh
But
my gosh.
I cried the entire time. I just believe every special need family should experience this. The entry fee is free for all of the special needs, and it's really cheap, under $25 for the rest of the family, like 13 to $25. So it's very reasonable. And we did the stand-up paddle boarding last year with Adaptive Freedom Foundation, and that was located in California at Baby Beach. It was to die for. It was amazing. It was amazing. They even have scholarship programs to like fly families out, you know, or with assistance to help them. I didn't get a chance to get their website on here, but I will send it.
We can include it in the email out to families.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And this next slide, you'll see Paige, adaptive rock climbing, more stay stuff. So this is more local. We did this at home, and she did iFly, which she loves. She did that quite a few times. They have a special needs night that they have there, and it's amazing. We didn't go on the special needs night. I didn't know. It's just something that we were doing before her surgery. And she loved it. She absolutely loved it.
Have to stretch your arms out. Yeah, because she's like, look at you now, Mom.
And then even though this isn't summer, they have the adaptive skiing in the Poconos. I had to add that because when I say that, this program is so amazing. The waiting list was ridiculous, but it was so worth it. She went out by herself and she skied. Like, what 11-year-old don't want to do that? So this is her coming down. You'll see her coming down.
Here she comes. Stinker! Look at that smile! Hi, Stink! You did so good! She loved it. Oh my goodness! Oh my God!
She wanted to go up again, and she did.
Oh my gosh, how cool.
Presenting it to our children. They probably can't pick and choose, but just for them to get the opportunity and experience, you never know what their favorites will be. So I just try to expose Paige to various of things besides her iPad and her cell phone, which she'll, like do all day. And most of the things she loves, and I just like make it for her. This is also at Baby Beach. This is the paddling.
Hey!
Sorry, my loud voice is always.
Well, baby!
Mute it. I can. But she really enjoyed herself doing this. She was like more like looking around like, oh, I'm afraid. But I like that emotion from her because she showed like, I'm in this big mass of water and it's nothing on the sides of me. So I even chickened out and I had my husband go with her once I seen that we didn't have any support. At one of the rides at Morgan's Wonderland. We were with my aunt that time. And I just want to say, just because it's not accessible doesn't mean it's not possible. We make so many things accessible. We make sure that we use our equipment to the fullest during the summer and spring months. We get our stander, bring it upstairs from the basement, we go outside. If we're going to have a water fight, a water balloon fight, make sure that Paige is in her stander so she can just see everything that's going on. We do a lot of gardening every year. It's so many things that we can do, like that we do. And sometimes an extra set of hands will be the only help that you'll need. Like you just need another eye or whatnot to be able to do whatever you're going to do. And don't forget your local fairs. We look for them every year. Paige go to the carnival about 3 times before it's over in the 7 days. Amusement parks, trampoline park, etc. And never leave your confidence behind. Just know that you know what's best for your child and you know what's safe for them. So if Paige might look like she can't hold on or stamp her feet, but for her to get on those rides when they do the testing, and this is before COVID, of course, they're not coming up close and personal anymore, but she would literally like hold on and she braces herself. So you never know what they are capable of until you put them in an environment to show forth their skills. And this is some more pictures of Paige at amusement parks, on rides, one where she was happy, one where she was scared, but she still enjoyed this. So I love to get the best of it. And this is just something else that I usually do with my support group is sometimes we just rent a hotel room. If multiple parents can afford it, we do it, but we go swimming and just play games and get messy. This is us playing Messy Twister with shaving cream and food coloring. Anything just to get them out and moving. I just think that it's so important and to just allow them to do something. And another example of us using our stander is skating. This is her using her stander skating. And a lot of times you just have to ask. I literally just asked. I found a small skating rink that it's never a lot of people there that we like to go to. And I asked if I could bring her stander. I know that they can't discriminate against her wheelchair, but can I bring her stander? And they was just like, sure, let's just try to do it on a low capacity night. And I don't see why not. Just ask for the supervisor and we were able to bring her stander in and she had the best time of her life. Like she looked down like, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yes, you're doing this thing. So, and this is us on just a regular, probably a school night. And she wasn't tired. We did Sky Zone. We do that frequently a lot. And this is something that we do. We wasn't able to do it this year due to her hip not being in place, but we usually garden, get down on our hands and knees and I make her help. And at first she's like, no, I don't want to do it. Probably thinking the same way that most of us think I can't do it. But this is the picture at the end, like she planted a flower, with minimum assistance. So she was really proud of herself. And it's just a picture at the pool. I said that I wasn't going to say a lot, and I'm saying it a lot.
This is perfect. I love it.
And I just want to make sure that everyone's comfortability and confidence, it's all the way there. You have to know that people flow to your boat. So yes, our kids are different. Yes, they might need some extra assistance, but they can do. And HMS shows that. So if parents don't get it just from being at HMS, it's like, I don't know, like you guys are amazing. So I just wanted to share some pointers. Always stand your ground. Don't get discouraged. Do not just accept no for an answer. We've been told no a lot, but I push. That's how we have a lot of these photos to show. And don't be afraid to ask for help from a supervisor. So someone might not know, just like at the amusement parks or whatnot, it's a lot of kids that's working the rides. They might not know. They probably didn't have a handicapped person come up yet. So the fact that you can ask a supervisor, and that could be your ticket to yes. I've even had supervisors have someone, if it was just me and Paige at the fair, walk around with us to pick her up for the ride. They were so amazed that first, once she get on, she likes it and she's not afraid, and that she really can do it. So again, remember, you know your child best. Always stay calm and remember the objective is for your child to have the experience. Even if they don't like it, the experience is what matters the most. And I think that's all I really have. Do you guys have any questions?
I was all prepared to ask questions, and I feel like this is so thorough. I learned so much that I don't have any questions except for, can I come on vacation with you? Because they look so fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was so great. It was like,
I'm happy that it was okay.
lovely.
I was trying to jam pack everything in, and I'm like, just let's make it simple. Let me start from the beginning to the end. So I'm
Mhm.
hopefully that this will help and encourage other families to get out and just do it. It'll be a lot of stairs and everything, but a lot of the times it's because they might have someone special like we have at home and they didn't bring them. So let's just show the world what our special kiddos can do and adults, and let them know that, you know, they're valuable in a community and their opinions and reviews matter too.
Well, thank you both so much. Both of your experiences and expertise, I know, are just going to help the rest of our HMS community. I learned so much from these presentations, and I'm really, really excited to share these presentations with the rest of our HMS family. We really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight and to present to our families. Any links that were mentioned, we'll make sure that we put direct links in the emails as well. So we'll pull them and put them in for families so they're really easy to access with this recording. And I think that's about it. We're gonna wrap up this presentation.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop this.